your men can have love for the truckie. Beautiful minds, but we love getting ugly. Risk takers with a clover, man, we love getting lucky. You run, we chase fire, I love when it ducks me. Tones go off, house watch, read the address out. 1075, get up off the magic couch. 500 gallons prepared for the baddest drought. Who else you want on the way when disaster's out? Can't even get a little bit rattled when you enter with exit apparel. Mayday, member down, they'll drag you. You won't get this from every Tom, Dick, and Harry, but here's a view from the top floor with Mickey Farrell.
This episode's brought to you by Garage. Are you tired of waiting around for your truck to sell or getting pennies on the dollar for perfectly good fire apparatus? There is a better way to sell trucks, and it's called Garage. Garage is an online platform built specifically for the fire service. Think eBay, but for everything from SCBAs to ladder trucks. It is free to list, and with thousands of serious buyers visiting the site every day, your surplus apparatus gets national exposure fast. You're not sure what your truck's worth? I mean, you know that's one of the hardest parts of selling surplus equipment. If you price it too high, it sits, and if you price it too low, you leave money on the table. That is why Garage built their instant appraisal tool. It uses real nationwide marketplace data to give you a live estimate on your truck's value. And it's completely free with no obligation to sell. Once you accept an offer, Garage handles the heavy lifting. Freight coordination, paperwork, and payment processing are all taken care of so you can stay focused on serving your community. And if you have apparatus coming up for sale or are searching for your next truck, visit shopgarage.com today and contact Garage.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Another episode of The View from the Top Floor. Someone brought something to attention to me just the other day that they heard on another podcast. I'm not quite sure what the podcast was, but they asked me a question on the mentality or the new trend of the all-in mindset of search for the first due companies and how they're taking every member of the first due truck company and applying them to search. And there was a question behind that. Now, I'm not quite sure why there would be a question unless it's a misunderstanding of what we do on the Fireground. Every few months, we have to go back and remind people the purpose of how we operate as a true truck company on the Fireground. And let me emphasize that when I say truck company, I don't care if you take a tanker to the fire, if you drive a pickup truck to the fire, we have to operate with the truck company mindset and the understanding of what those roles are. I talk often about the X's and O's of firefighting and where to fit in and how to pivot. This is exactly just that. There are game plans that are preset before we get to any fire, but the number one initiative of the first due companies arriving, I don't care if we engine or truck, is to locate the seat of the fire. So that requires every member on the Fireground to be looking for the fire. Yes, now there's roles gaining position and doing jobs to assist in that search for fire, but that main objective for the first due companies on arrival is locate the seat of the fire. Now, as the second due companies arrive, that mindset shifts quite a bit. If we haven't located the seat of the fire, we're still looking for that fire, but that second due company, it's critical that we get to the floors above the fire and search for life. So first due companies, we are searching for fire, never, ever, ever dismissing the path in which we search to gain position and locate the seat of the fire for life. We're never dismissing life in that moment, but we have to find the seat of the fire. We have to isolate that fire. We have to confine that fire, and we have to direct that engine company into position with the line and put that fire out. More lives are saved by water on the fire. This is common sense firefighting 101. Locate the seat of the fire, confine the fire, search beyond the fire, searching ahead, above, and opposite that engine company, and then searching our way back to that point of entry, detailed search for life. Once we hit the threshold of the ideal H going to the floors above, that's where we shift the understanding that we have located the fire or in the process of locating the fire. We're getting the line into position. We are now gaining position on the floor above the fire. At that threshold, we are searching for life, quickly maneuvering ourselves to the room directly above the fire room on the fire floor. That's where we have to focus our attention on the floor above. Yes, we're searching the entire length from the ideal H to that area. We have to get a detailed and rapid search on the room above the fire room below. For so many factors, that's where people are in most danger, but especially because now with lithium-ion batteries in the game, we're seeing how fierce and how explosive and how dangerous these fires are. And it's not just the fire, it's the smoke. We have to get in above those rooms and get these people out of there if they are trapped above the fire. Now, a lot of times there's a question that comes up, and you're the first to company, confirm someone trapped. Are you stretching a line, or are you going for the grab and making the search? Again, if that fire is not presenting itself for you at that front door, the move is search. However, to search for fire, we have to look for the seat of the fire. Still, people trapped, stretch the line, but get ahead of that line, locate the fire, confine the fire, and get that line into position, then searching for life. So the word search oftentimes is just broad strokes, thinking that we're just searching for life. We have to drill into young firefighters and have them understand the X's and O's, the IQ of firefighting, that we are searching for fire first, then life, then the floor above, starting with life, then extension. Remember, as the fire is progressing, we're opening up. That is part of the firefight. Extension and overhaul, very different. I've talked about that in the past, but again, on the floor above, looking for life, but we are also in the active search for fire traveling throughout that building. Again, part of the firefight. I just want to do a quick episode on this because I feel like every few months we lose sight of what the purpose of our job is. Yes, we're never dismissing life, ever. Life is always number one. But what we do in the aid for life, in the tactical standpoint of how we operate in the Fireground, is that we search for the fire, confirm the fire, direct the engine into position, and by directing the engine in position, that comes from usually the officer going back to that threshold where the engine company is standing by with the charge line and either physically bringing that engine and showing them, or having a very, very detailed description on how to get to that fire room. Because if you say down the hall, 2 doors on the left, what's really 2 doors on the left? Unless you really have a good relationship with that engine officer where he can trust you and you can trust him to get that into position. Again, so conversation is so important, but having that conversation, having that dialect is so important of quickly getting the water on the fire, getting the line in position. So don't get caught up or confused when people are asking questions about, are we searching too much? The word search is very, very detailed search. Fire, life, but never dismissing the search for life in the path of the search for the fire. All right, guys, I just wanted to jump on real quick and talk about this. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I just can't wrap my brain around why we can't grasp the fact that we have to locate the seat of that fire before we do anything else. Even if you are the only engine that pulls up and someone says there's someone inside that building, they are trapped. What's your move? Search, but it's the search for fire. Why we progressively get that line in position and forward move that line down the hallway, put that fire out, then searching for life. All right? Search. It's not a broad stroke road. It's a detailed tactical understanding of what we're searching for. FDIC, coming up in less than a month. I just want to go over a couple of things that I'm doing out there. On Tuesday, April 21st at 1:30, I'm doing my 4-hour workshop, Fire Academy to the Fire Floor, Why the Disconnect. I hope to see you there. It's a great program. It's for the senior officer down to the junior fireman. We bridge the gap for people lost in their mix, trying to find the way and to motivate some of the more senior firefighters to take on that leadership role, that mentorship role. Speaks a lot about truck company operations, however, the humility and the progress of understanding that humility is the forward progression of the American Fire Service. Then Thursday and Friday, I'm doing 2 hits, high-intensity training. It's a new thing they're doing in one of the theaters. Thursday, I'm doing The Art of Time, and that's at 4:26. It's talking about how time is a tool in the Fireground, and if we can manipulate it, we win. And then on Friday, I'm doing VES, The Path to Position, and that is at 10:20. All right? I'm there for the entire week, so if you are out there, look me up, say hello, grab a drink. Looking forward to being out there and seeing all my friends. All right, guys, and just remember, first do companies, engine, truck, I don't care who you are. If you're the first company on scene, we still have to locate the seat of that fire, then search for life. However, in the path of the search for the fire, you're never dismissing life. Like, subscribe, share the show. Talk to you soon.